All right. So we're actually going to start just sitting for some alternate nostril breathing. So you could sit any way you want. Your legs can be out. I'm going to cross mine. You can cross them in lotus. You can have a block under your butt or a blanket. The thing is that you need to line up your shoulders over your hips. So if you do something with your legs that then is making you lean in some way, change your legs. And once you're lined up, we're just going to bring our left hand to our lap so that the palm is facing up. And we'll just inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. Let's just do that one more time. Let's inhale through both nostrils. We'll use the right thumb to close off the right nostril. Exhale left. Inhale left. Close it with the ring or pinky finger of the right hand. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. We'll lower the right hand so that we can exhale both. Just place both down on the knees. There's many schools of thought about which nostril you should start and finish with. We just chose this one. Okay, let's make our way to tabletop. And we'll bring the hands under the shoulders, just 3 cat-cows here. So go with your breath. Just try to press into your inner hand so that you don't end up with any wrist issues. And try to keep your arms straight. Try to initiate with your Mula Bandha. And after your 3rd round, we'll inhale to arch, but press into downward dog for the exhale. And we'll meet there in downward dog. Just pedal out your feet however you need. Maybe shake out your head. So that was just like 4 minutes of alternate nostril breathing. You could really do 20 minutes You have the time. Okay, after your next exhale, step or jump forward. Inhale when you get there. Fold, exhale. Rise up, inhale, palms together if you can. And just touch your thumbs to the back of your neck. Keep your arms in close to your ears. And inhale to reach up again. Maybe look up. And fold forward, exhale. Halfway up, inhale. Step or jump, chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing dog, inhale. And downward dog, exhale. Rock forward to plank. Inhale, squeeze your forearms together. They're not going to touch, but inward. Exhale, press back. So we're just finding the midline. Inhale, rock forward. You'll see the elbow creases facing forward. Exhale to press back. The elbow creases will be facing each other pretty much. Inhale, rock forward, last time. Exhale, press back. Heels up high, inhale. Bend the knees. Exhale, step, walk, or jump forward. Inhale when you get there to the top. Fold, exhale. Your elbows can squeeze in toward your outer shins. Rise up, inhale. Palms together, touch the thumbs to the back of the neck, just looking forward. Reach up, look up, inhale. Fold forward, exhale. Come halfway up, inhale. Step or jump, chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing, inhale. Downward facing, exhale. We'll rock forward to plank for the inhale. Find down dog B for the exhale. So we'll lift our butt, squeeze the forearms in, and just let the elbows come down. Return to plank again. Inhale, you're pulling yourself forward with your fingers. Down dog B, exhale. You push yourself back with your fingers. Again, inhale forward. And exhale, butt lifts, heels reach down. Inhale to plank. This time a normal downward dog with straight arms. Maybe it's easier then to squeeze the forearms in toward the midline. Make a game plan for how you're going to get your feet toward your hands. When you're done with your exhale, follow through with your plan. When your feet are at the top of the mat, inhale, fold, exhale. Reach up, inhale, palms together. Thumbs to the back of the neck. Elbows are still in, so you feel your upper arms on your ears. Inhale, reach up. Some of that will depend on how much your ears stick out. Fold forward, exhale. Halfway up, inhale. Step or jump, chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing, inhale. Downward facing, exhale. So we're just going to come to the knees for a moment. Come to the elbows, measure it out. Make sure that you're able to wrap your fingers around. And stack your hands. We'll go right hand on top of left. So you have a little V shape. And then step to your plank. So we're in a forearm plank with an easier shoulder position. Draw the belly in. Bring the feet together. We'll just find forearm side plank. Left hand will stay there. And it's just a slightly easier shoulder situation so that you can think now about getting your hips up a little bit higher and rolling your shoulders back. Don't let the left hand lift at all. We'll come through center. We'll slide the right hand under the left, then come onto the right outer foot, lift the left arm up. So the more you lean back and look up, the more you have to push your right thumb into the floor. Okay, we'll come through that center place. Just place the knees down again so that you can straighten out your arms. Downward dog. Relax the neck. Okay, make your game plan. Take one last breath. And somehow, after your exhale, feet toward hands. When you're there, inhale, fold, exhale. Rise up, inhale, and just lower the arms by your sides, exhale. Bend into the knees, Urdhva Dhanurasana, inhale. We'll fold straight legs, exhale. Halfway up, inhale, step or jump back, chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing, inhale. Downward facing, exhale. Right foot forward. Reach up for warrior one, inhale. And keep your warrior one shape. Touch your thumb to the back of your neck. Look forward, exhale. Reach up again, inhale. Hands to the floor for chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing, inhale. Downward dog, exhale. Left foot forward for warrior one, side two. We reach up. We exhale. Thumbs touch. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. We'll stay here for a few breaths. Strong through the legs. Okay, after your next exhale, step walk or jump forward. Inhale there at the top. Fold, exhale. Ustrasana. Inhale. Let's hold opposite elbows. And just gently pull the arms back. Find that mula bandha so that you can sit a little lower. We'll exhale to release, straighten the legs. Inhale, halfway up. Step or jump, chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing, inhale. Downward facing, exhale. Right foot forward. Warrior one. Inhale, palms together if you can. Thumbs to the back of the neck. Exhale, elbows are pointing up. Inhale to reach up. Hands to the floor, exhale. This time we're just going to go for a rounded plank. So your shoulders are already where they need to be. Just lift your left heel. Slide your right foot back and heel up toward your butt. Head drops down. Spine lifts up. Forearms squeeze in toward one another. Let's go to three-legged downward dog for the inhale. And again to rounded plank for the exhale. Two more times like that. You might find that moving in and out of it is easier than staying in it. Just increase your range of motion as much as you can. The next time you wind up in three-legged downward dog, just put your foot down for normal downward dog. Take a breath. And we'll do the other side. Left foot steps forward. Warrior one, inhale. Thumbs to the back of the neck. Exhale. Reach up again, inhale. Hands to the floor, exhale. Notice where your shoulders are in relation to your hands. They're already there. So just lift your back heel, slide your left foot back, point the toes, and try not to shift your shoulders too much. Lift your waistline, drop your head. 3 times we'll move with breath. The inhale extends our leg up. The exhale curls us into a little ball. Whatever pace you go is fine. Keep your arms squeezing into that midline. Straight arms with equal weight, right and left side. We'll meet in downward dog when you're done. Shake out your neck so you know you're not tense. After your exhale, step, walk, or jump forward. Inhale when you get there. Fold, exhale. Bend the knees. Ustrasana. Inhale. So we're just going to wrap our right arm behind the back. Sit a little bit lower and side bend. So you'll just end up with your palm facing out. Just take a breath like this. See if you can reach a little further. Rise up and try the other side. Reach through the fingertips, and that hand that's on your hip can help you keep that hip down, so the hips don't shift when you side bend. Let's bring it through a normal Ustrasana and fold forward, straighten the legs, exhale. Halfway up, inhale. Step or jump, chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing, inhale. Downward facing, exhale. Right foot forward, warrior one. Inhale. This time, left arm behind the back. Find your right hip and try to pull that right hip back and down. Side bend, like you did in Ustrasana. Over to the left, we're reaching. The more you reach with the right hand, the straighter you're going to get your back leg. Just take one more breath. And we'll rise up through regular warrior one. Place the hands on the floor. Step to three-legged plank. Just practice keeping the shoulders where they were. Bring that right knee to the left elbow. Three-legged plank again, extend. One more time. From that three-legged plank, just lower the foot, regular plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Left foot forward, warrior one. Reach up. This time we'll bring our right arm behind the back. And we'll reach over with the left arm. That right hand can help us push that left hip down. Even just having a tiny bit of that tactile support is enough to keep our mind in the game. Next, inhale, return to your warrior one. Hands to the floor. Notice where your shoulders are in relation to your hands. Don't change that. Step back. Left leg is up. When you can, left knee to the right elbow. Three-legged plank. Exhale to the elbow. Inhale to plank. Lower the foot for chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing. We'll meet in downward facing. Shake out when needs shaking. Draw in through the belly, which will happen automatically if you allow it to. Okay. Right foot forward to the hand. Lower the left knee, Asana. Hands to the right thigh, nudge it forward a little more. And we'll take a side bend now in the opposite vein of what we did in warrior. So our left leg is back, lift your left arm up. Reach your right hand out to the side to help catch you, or have your hand on a block and reach as far as you can. If, when you reach it, you feel like you're folding forward, put your hand behind your head, press your head into your hand, and reach with your elbow instead of your fingers. The stretch really is meant for hip flexors, psoas, side body, armpit. So whether your elbow is bent or not, you can make that happen. Okay, we'll rise up. We'll meet in a three-legged plank again. So lift the back knee, plant your hands Don't shift your shoulders as you slide your right foot back. And just bring the right knee to the right elbow. Extend it back, three-legged plank. One more time. From that three-legged plank, lower the foot, and vinyasa. We'll try the other side. Left foot forward for your Anjaneyasana. First, just nudging that left knee to bend more. When you can, right arm up. Side bend, reaching to the left. So this is already a pretty deep back bend. And the reason that Anouk said that capo and preps for capo are so hard is partly a shoulder thing, but it's also just all of this is tight on most of us. So we just chip away at it. Take 2 more breaths. Use an inhale to side bend. Exhale to place the hands. And find your three-legged plank. And when you can, knee to the left elbow and extend back again. And just try to do that with minimal wiggling. After the second one, plant the foot, vinyasa. Okay, walk your hands back to your feet. Hands underneath the feet for Padahastasana, toes by the wrists. Inhale, belly in. Exhale to fold. As you get comfortable, the legs get straighter. As you get even more comfortable, the elbows bend more. But at no point is your belly just mushing into your legs. There's always that drawing up. Okay. Untuck the hands. Walk them forward into your downward dog. Lift the right leg high for your inhale. Step to the hands, exhale. High lunge, inhale. Into warrior 2, exhale. Let's just go for a half bind at first. So left arm behind the back. Try to get your hand to your right thigh. Right elbow to the knee. Just twist up toward the ceiling so that you can have a nice clear view of what's above you. The twist is pretty easy here because with our elbow on our thigh, we're pretty high up. Dig your right heel into the floor. If this is going well, extend your right arm out alongside your ear so that it's roughly parallel to your back leg, or a straight line from your back leg, I should say. But you can't see it if that's happening or not. You just visualize it. All right, triangle pose with that arm still stuck behind us. So straighten the right leg, adjust your left foot as needed. Decide where you want your right hand to go. Shin, ankle, big toe, block. Look up again, see that nice clear ceiling view. Chin toward your left shoulder. Okay, slowly unwind. Plant your hands. Find your three-legged plank again without moving your shoulders. Just that right leg slips back. We'll bring our right knee toward the right elbow. We'll let it slide down toward the wrist, and we'll hoist it up toward the shoulder. Just a few times like that. You'll notice that your back leg is really helpful in the hoisting up process. When you've had enough of such things, just step to downward dog, and we'll do the other side. Left leg high, inhale. Step forward, exhale. High lunge, inhale. Warrior 2, exhale. That right shoulder is going to roll forward so that you can get your fingers by your thigh. Left elbow to the thigh. Look up. We're trying to push our belly button toward the spine and spine toward the forearm. It's not really a push, it's more like a drawing in feeling. But when you're pushing your back into your forearm, that will feel like a push. So decide you want to stay here or dig your left heel into the floor more and extend the arm out. You can always try the left arm, and if it's not working well, then put the elbow down again. All right, we'll bring it into triangle. Straighten the left leg. Adjust your stance as needed. Keep rolling your right shoulder back, like your chin wants to touch your shoulder. Waistline back toward your forearm. Unraveling at your pace. We'll meet in that three-legged plank. The shoulders over the wrists or over the knuckles. Bring your left knee toward your left elbow. Slowly slide it down and hoist it up again. A few more times. If you have any wrist issues, you might decide to do forearm planks instead, or do some wedge-like concoction. We'll meet in downward dog. I don't actually have a wedge at my house, so if I ever have a wrist issue, I just fold my mat, put my palms on the mat, and then have the fingers off the mat. It just gives a little bit of less bend to the wrist. Okay, right foot forward, warrior two. Into full bind potentially. So left arm we already did. This time you put your right hand big toe side of the foot. If your hip is okay with that, right thumb is going to lead the charge underneath the right leg. Your right knuckles will be near your hip, palm facing out, so that your left wrist can come down onto the hand. And it seems like maybe it's irrelevant, but when you go to something like Ustrasana, you need to have this sort of on autopilot because there's other things you'll need to deal with. So the positioning of your knuckles and palms is actually pretty important. Keeping whatever style bind you have. Inhale to straighten your right leg as much as you can. I went so fast I undid my bind. Exhale to bend it again. And just a few times like that. So whatever your range is based on not breaking your shoulders and whatever your hamstrings dictate. The next time that your right knee is bent, we'll unravel. We'll find our three-legged plank again. And just a normal plank. Let's walk our feet in maybe 12 more inches so we're in like a tabletop, but with our knees off the ground. Just tuck your tailbone a few inches and stick your butt up toward the ceiling. Tuck a few inches and butt up toward the ceiling. So it's just like these little low belly curls with stillness through the shoulders and upper back. Okay, we'll press the downward dog. You'll need to walk your feet back a little bit. And we'll do all of this on the other side. Left foot forward for warrior two. Maybe a half bind or a full bind. So to get full bind, your shoulder needs to be inside of your knee. So maybe you, for a few months, you just put your hand there. Get your hip used to the idea. When you want to go for it, bend your left elbow a little bit. Slide your thumb under you. And get your left knuckles to your hip. So it's not your knuckles on your butt. If you find that your bind is close to your butt, you have to bend your left elbow more. Chin toward right shoulder. See the ceiling clearly like you did before. Even though it's harder now, stay calm. And we'll just move in and out of a straighter front leg, trying to keep our view where it is. When your knee is bent again, unravel your arms. Take time to find your three-legged plank so there's not a lot of wiggling in the shoulders. Lower the foot and walk it in a bit. So it's like tabletop, but with the knees off the floor. When you're ready, curl your tailbone under and then lift it up. At your pace. This is a lot of low bandha. So you can think of it from Mula Bandha or Uddiyana Bandha. We'll meet in downward dog again. Step back a bit so it's comfortable. It's not too short or squished. Shake out the neck. Take 2 more breaths. I'm going to take this opportunity to wipe sweat. Okay. We'll bring our right foot forward again. Anjaneyasana. Hands to that right knee. We'll attempt to open the chest here, which winds up opening shoulders quite a bit. Both hands are going to reach back for the ankle. So activate your hamstring in order to bring your foot to you. And then you can grab the ankle. If, for any reason, that doesn't work out, hold a strap, or just go for one arm instead of both. Once you're situated, bend your front knee as much as you can stand it, and kick your ankle into your hands. And you'll notice your heel moving away from your butt. The chest opens a lot. Let your head go back naturally. One more breath here. Let go of the grip. Straighten the back leg. Slide it in a few inches for twisted triangle. Left hand anywhere you want it to be, right hand up. Lately, I've been enjoying putting that hand on the foot, which I used to think was a very precarious balance. And in a way it is. But for some reason lately, that's been my choice. You'll notice that you have an ebb and flow to your practice. Okay. Let's untwist. We'll step back again to Anjaneyasana. We'll repeat the same thing you had. This time we'll try to kick and maybe bring the foot down to the ground. That will vary wildly between all of us. In your Anjaneyasana, your right knee is very bent. In order to get this back foot to the ground, you have to unbend your front leg. And the reason that's hard is because how do you unbend it but keep the weight on the foot? Practice is really the only answer for that one. You might fall a few times, a few hundred times. So when you've tried that and you're satisfied, undo your back foot. We'll slide the left knee in and have a seat, possibly on a block, possibly on the floor, for Ekapada Supta Virasana. So the right knee will still just point up to the ceiling. We'll come down to our backs. Maybe. If you have a block under you, you'll probably not come down to your back because that would be like weighed a lot on that quad. Once you get down here, try to tuck your ribs in. Make a choice. Do you want your right foot to stay where it is, or do you want to bring the knee in? Some people straighten the leg up. That's pretty crazy. You could straighten it up and hold the toes. That's a little bit much for me. I can't concentrate on any one piece if I do that. So do what works for you so that you can still keep your belly in. All right, we'll start to rise up out of this. If you have a block there, just move it to the side. And we'll go for Ekapada Bakasana as an exit because you know that I love it from here. We're already in this little ball shape. So we're going to put our right knee in or near our right armpit. You could go armpit to shin bone as well. Rock forward. Lifting your right toes and your left knee up is very easy. However, getting your left foot up is a challenge. Lean forward. Instead of kicking the foot up, just lean. And then jump back whenever you're ready. We'll meet in a downward dog. And that pose is great at teaching us patience and teaching us not to jump. Okay, left foot forward, Anjaneyasana. All of this on side 2. Reach for the right ankle. Make a decision. Do you have a strap? Do you have one hand? If you're going both hands, try to interlace your fingers all the way to the webbing. Bend your left leg more. Kick your right heel away from you more. Let the head go back naturally. Okay, into twisted triangle. So we let that go. We slide the right foot in enough that we feel balanced in this heel-to-heel alignment. Both legs straight. Left arm up. Finally, my computer is cooperating. For like 2 weeks, I have had issues. Miss Carol, roll that left shoulder back a little more. Good. Okay, let's unravel. We'll step again to Anjaneyasana, and we'll attempt maybe the harder version. So first, just getting into it is kind of a big deal. This right hamstring has to squeeze. Otherwise, the foot is too far away to get the grip. If you are planning to bring your right foot to the floor, you might need to loosen the grip a little bit. Start to unbend your left leg if that's where you're going. You're still kicking your right heel as far from your butt as you can, whether or not you're going to bring the foot to the floor. Good. All right. Come on out of that, and we'll slide the right foot in, sitting on the floor or on the block. Your right arch, just cradling your hip. Not out to the side, foot is facing back. Start to lean back. Every inch you go down, retuck your tailbone. Tim always says we don't want to drive a Mack truck underneath the back. We only want to fit a Corvette. We're trying to bring our mid-back down toward the floor. Maybe you do something else with your left leg. This is my tight side, so I don't even think I can extend the leg up to the ceiling. Play around with that and see what is this side for you. What can you do comfortably? Sometimes when we're in back bends, we forget about the bandhas. So bringing the ribs in and the waistline down is going to help us. So is sticking in this arm balance right after. So let's rise up. And obviously, Ekapada is very hard. It's a lot of core strain. But it's also, where is your butt in relation to your arms? We all have to lean forward more than we want to. So you'll place your knee. You'll get your butt up pretty easily. And then to get your right foot up, you're going to drag your right knee toward your chest. And once your right knee is close enough to the chest, the foot will lift. So it's a matter of curling into a ball. Okay, let's bring the knees down. Anahata, walk the hands forward, chin down. Belly in. We'll start to slide forward, forearm plank. Your knees can be up or down here, but reach your tailbone toward your feet. And just take 2 more breaths. Okay, knees down, then hips down. Let's bring our left forearm crossing in front of the body. Right hand reaches back, Bakasana grip. We'll have our pointer finger go between big toe, second toe, so that the palm is on the bony top of your foot. Elbow up. And however close you get into that grip, fine. But now lift your chest higher. Bring your right ribs forward. And then whatever you had going on is going to be a little more difficult, but also you'll have the integrity of being square to the top of the mat. Pubic bone down. Let it go. And change sides. To get full Bakasana grip, you need to have your left foot pretty close to your hip. That pointer finger position is just so that we don't squish our toes. You don't really have to have your pointer finger between big toe, second toe. But sometimes I notice when folks don't, it looks like the toes are about to break off. Okay, left ribs forward a little more. And carry, let's push your left foot down a little more toward the mat. Yeah, like visualize your toes are going to touch right next to your hip. Okay, let's let that go. Hands under the shoulders. Upward facing dog, inhale. Downward dog, exhale. Okay, opening the throat a little bit. Knees, chest, and chin. So you are used to Ashtanga vinyasas, but there's a lot of schools where you lower your knees first, then you lift your butt a bit and come to the chest. So we'll meet here with the chest down. If it's easy for you, walk your knees in a little more. And you're looking forward, so it feels very open in the throat. A little bit nerve-wracking if we're not used to it. From here, see if you can find Mula Bandha. So even though you're sticking your butt up toward the ceiling, try to draw your sitting bones toward one another. Belly in. It just prevents you from going too far. Okay, let that go. Slide onto your belly. And let's prop ourselves up again on the forearms. Before we go for full Bakasana, we'll just attempt a version of Dhanurasana. So notice right now your thighs are on the floor. Let's flex our feet, kick the heels up toward the ceiling, and the thighs are still on the floor. Let's try to reach the hands for the ankles and keep the thighs on the floor. So we're kicking our toes back. We're pushing our pubic bone down. And the result is our chest is very high. Take a few more breaths here. If you can, the gaze is down the nose. Let your chest open. The legs are doing a lot of the work. So your upper body can, in some ways, just surrender to that. Okay, let that go. Hands under the shoulders. Upward facing on an inhale. Downward facing on an exhale. Oh, Lordy. Oh, there's a spider on my mat. I need to move him before we continue on. But for you guys, go right leg in front, Anjaneyasana. Come on, little thing. I think he's seen better days. He didn't mean to go onto a yoga mat. So once you're there in Anjaneyasana, you're going to start walking into Hanumanasana. Okay, I got it. Right leg is in front. Okay. I'm glad he made himself known at that moment, or he would have been surely dead underneath my knee. Before we head to the other side, let's turn this into Samakhanasana. Hands over to the left, pivot on the feet. And my Samakhanasana is going to be with my hands on the ground, my butt up, because otherwise I cannot get a straight line between the legs. You could stay like this, you could put a block under your butt, or you could just lower your butt to the floor and be in a V shape instead of a true Samakhanasana. Okay, head over to the other side for Hanuman. Left leg in front, you might want to start in Anjaneya first, or maybe not. If you have two blocks, they can go under your hands. If you have one block, it can go under your thigh. In this pose, better than a block would be a towel, because then you could adjust the height. Let's meet in Samakhanasana again. I'm going to pivot so that I'm side view to the camera. We're going to let this take us into a little chin stand, which is a throat opener, much like what you did before. So come to your butt if you don't know what I mean, just so that you can rest for a sec while I show you. So you'll be in like a big straddle. The hands will be under the shoulders and slightly behind. Then we'll start to lean forward and we'll tuck our elbows in by our hips. We'll bring the chin down like we did before. The chest won't quite be down. And then it's going to be a lot of glutes and low back to get your legs up. And the exit can be either through chaturanga or back down like what I did with the straddle. It's not nearly as hard as it looks. It's a lot of leaning forward. So give it a try. Your Samakhanasana does have to be pretty wide if you are going to enter it from this position. You could enter it also from more like a plank shape. It's a little harder that way, but it can be done. Tanya, shift forward more. And it's all like outer glute and low back. So like your butt has to work really hard. And Anouk, it's on the palms, not the forearms. Yes. Okay. All right. That was some shenanigans. Let's meet again in downward dog. When you get there, just draw the belly in, shake yourself out a little bit. I promised you a Dvipada Bakasana, and I will deliver that to you now. Rock forward to plank and lower down to the belly. So if Ekapada Bakasana, one-legged, was not fun for you, that was this one, where you curl your fingers over your toes. You can either try that again or return to Dhanurasana, when we held the ankles. Otherwise, you're going to bring your hands inside of your feet, point your fingers between big toe, second toe. You'll start to lift your chest up and bring your feet down. I have seen people whose toes touch the floor here. That is not me, but I'm thinking pubic bone down so that there's no low back pain, and elbows in. It's going to feel really nice in the shoulders and in the chest if you can keep your elbows in. And it becomes a shoulder thing and not so much a quads thing after you've been doing it for a while. Good. And let's slowly get out of there, hands under the shoulders. Take your time moving through your vinyasa. One more shoulder thing, because I know you love it. Knees, chest, chin again. And if that was enough for you, by all means, don't do any more. When I used to do this, I would laugh hysterically because it was so painful. So once you feel comfortable here, interlace your fingers behind the back, straight arms, and knuckles up. And this used to be so insane. Calf. Working over your bandhas. When you get into backbends, still. Slowly release yourself. We'll come through the belly into a up dog or cobra, and we'll meet in down dog. Okay, let's walk the hands back to the feet and just squat for a moment so that you can be bending the other way so that you don't get stuck in the back bend. For some of you, a squat is not a nice place to be. So you could wedge something under your heels, maybe just the mat, or maybe something else. Or maybe you're up here. Let's take another breath wherever you are and try to draw your belly in so that you feel a little smoother in the back, so that it's not painful. Okay. We'll try to go with no hands. This will depend on many things. We're just going to lower the knees down and then stand on the knees. This is your kind of setup for an Ustrasana. Before we go to Ustrasana, we'll drop our butt down to the heels again. Let our knees lift so we're again in the squat. So just go back and forth at your pace from your Ustrasana setup to your squat place. And your hands, you can experiment with where it feels good to put them. If you have any knee issues, modify like crazy. If this is easy for you, congratulations. It's always nice when something works out well. Take those moments when you can. I see Miss Bloom has had enough of this. She's just waiting in the Ustrasana. All right, let's meet in the Ustrasana setup. We're gonna have one hand on the back of the head just to support our head. And for right now, let's curl the toes because we want our heel to be pretty high. So left hand behind the head, like where your head meets your neck. Reach the right arm up, inhale as tall as you can, and exhale, start to arch back. And you're gonna push your hips forward, reach through your right fingertips and through your left elbow. And just take a breath or so here. We'll rise up and reach as high as we can. We'll just switch sides. So right hand behind the head. And let's practice this elbow for a sec. Instead of your elbow being out here, it's more forward. So I can see this. My elbow is out here, I can't see it anymore. So make sure it's in your visual. Then when you press your head back, your shoulder will nicely go back also. Left arm is up and out. Reach through the left fingers, push the hips forward. We'll rise up and release at your leisure. We'll just meet in that squat again. And we'll see how that is going. For better or for worse, belly in. If you're up here, we like to call it ski racer. Kind of a fun visual. Okay, so no hands, we'll rock forward again to the knees. This time we'll try to hold one heel while the other hand is still behind the head. So left hand behind the head, chest up, hips forward. And when you're ready, reach your right hand for your heel. If you have a wall there, you can push your hips into the wall. If you don't want to put your hand on your heel, you could also put your right hand on your hip and push into your hand. Now let's rise up. Take your time, switching sides. So it's all going to be really about chest up, hips forward. When you're ready, right hand comes to support. If you have any back issues, instead of reaching with your left hand, put your thumb on your tailbone. As you curl back, push your tailbone forward. It will just be a little extra support. But usually that's all we need, is just that little bit of extra. We'll start to rise up, take your time. We'll meet again in our squatting position. Trying to make it comfortable. Obviously, we're not doing a full second series today, but just so you know, you get Kapotasana, and you get like 4 poses, and then you're putting your foot behind your head. So having the ability to go from back bend to forward bend sort of quickly, it's a good skill. Okay. Let's rock forward and just step to downward dog. Let's come onto our butts and lay down. Urdhva Dhanurasana. You've done a lot of quads and shoulder work, so potentially this will feel fine. If you have any wrist issues, either stay on your forearms or on your shoulders, or hands to the baseboards. Let's take a few more breaths here. And come on down. I just want to show you where we're going to go with this. So heels will come a little closer to the butt, just so that we have an easier time with rocking forward and back. So once I come up, I'm going to push that way, away from my feet, and then I'm going to come that way. So when I go onto my feet, I'm going to let my palms lift off the floor just a bit. So I end up on the fingertips a little bit more. Give it a try. Your rocking is going to depend a lot on how flexible are your shoulders. Also, any wrist pain, you are not going to be rocking. Like if you're on your forearms or your shoulders, just don't rock. Oh, this is very smooth. Okay. I'll show you the next phase. Tanya, you keep going because you took forever to get there. Sometimes props are hilarious because by the time you've acquired your props, everybody's moved on. But no problem. And Tanya, walk your feet in closer to the wall if you can. Okay, so the rest of you, here's where we're going. So you were in Ustrasana with the toes curled. We'll start there. We'll reach up. We'll push our hips forward. And I'm going to keep thinking of reaching away from my hips so that I can bring hands to the floor and then come up. The way out of it, you could either come to your back or knees down and you're standing again. So it's a similar skill for your feet as when you were here doing the squat back and forth. Mentally, it's going to be challenging. So give it a try. There will be a moment where your knees are up, but your hands have not yet come down. Just deal with it. There's no other way. You kind of have to commit to it and push with your feet. Anouk, scoot forward a little bit more so I don't know where that wall is behind you. Okay. It just got scared for you. And now just go for it. You got it. You're going to see the mat with your eyeballs before you feel it with your hands. Ah, the freak out. The freak out is real. Okay, so if that was too scary, because I know you're strong enough, but you have to know you're strong enough, and that's a very different thing because you don't see yourself the way other people see you. So if that transition was too much, practice this one, just rocking for like a few weeks with the intention that at some point your feet will be close and then you can come up that way. Because then mentally it's a little bit more manageable. So try it one more time. Any back bend of your choosing, either from the knees or if that was easy, stand up, full drop back. Why not? Stop. And Tanya, try to reach your chest to the wall a little more. Then your wrists will also be happier. Good. All right. So after all of these shenanigans, the thing that Anouk requested is actually nice. It's more peaceful than what you just did. So we're going to go Ustrasana with the wall, and I'm just going to use this lovely sheet wall that I have. Hopefully I don't rip the sheet off. Behind me is a glass door and a Rottweiler who's acting like a lunatic today. So I'll be about an arm's distance from the wall. We're just going to reach up, and it's the same concept as before, hips forward, and touch the wall. Push. So if you can touch the wall, then you're going to push your hands towards straight as best you can. Oh, you're all frozen on my screen. To get the arms further down the wall, you're going to bend them. And you'll squeeze your elbows in. Walk your hands maybe a little bit further apart from each other. That's going to make it easier to squeeze your elbows in. And just take it easy. No need to make it stressful. Okay. And you'll either try it a couple times with the wall, or you can go for the floor. And that will basically be Kapotasana B at that point. So if you're going for the floor, it's the same concept as reaching for the wall. You're still reaching away from your hips. Hips are forward. And then it's just that there's no wall there. But then still, the hands come down, the elbows have to come in, and then we try to straighten the arms. So whether you're on the wall or the floor, conceptually, it's the same thing. Good, and look, your hips are nice and far away, so that's working. Okay. Yeah, basta. So, Lisa, your feet are a little bit like this. So it looked like you had your feet untucked, but then they were still up. When you untuck your toes, flatten your ankle out, so it's all squished against the ground. Okay, let's just meet in downward dog. We'll turn that into Urdhva, which if that is not to your liking, by all means, repeat what we just did. Urdhva, you decide how much do you bring it into a back bend. So you'll find your balance, which might take a few little moments, and you're going to look toward your thumbs, point your toes, squeeze your legs together. If you want more back bend, look past your thumbs toward the top of your mat even. Open your throat. Of course, you could take it to scorpion if you prefer. Just like everything, there is no end. You can fix your hair with your toes. All right. And when you are done with your Urdhva, just head to downward dog again and take a little rest. Let's go right leg in front for pigeon. Slide the left leg far enough back that you feel a stretch through your right hip. Decide if you want to be upward facing or downward facing. We'll take 3 more breaths. Let's rise up. We're going to swing the left leg in front for Ustrasana A. Foot to thigh, inhale, reach. Hold over that left leg for the exhale. And on your inhale, try to bring your right armpit a little further forward. Exhale, fold a little more. Again, inhale, right armpit forward. Exhale, right ribs down. Inhale the left ribs higher. Exhale the right ribs down. So you're just approaching the twist that is this pose. Okay, let's rise up. We'll bend the left leg, swing the right leg back, pigeon. Side 2. Rise up, swing the right leg around. Glue that left foot to the right thigh. Inhale, length. Exhale, fold. And if you can't hold your foot because your hamstring feels tight, just hold somewhere else. Or you could bend the knee, wedge some blankets underneath your knee. It's always better to find a modification than to skip it altogether. Shouldn't say always, but most of the time. And same is true for injuries that we get. We think we need to skip yoga for a lot of weeks. But really, if you just do a personal practice and cater to whatever injury, you can still find practice. There's always stuff that you can do. Okay, let's rise up, vinyasa. We'll meet in downward dog. We'll just go for Mukta Hasta, Ustrasana A, tripod headstand, which will very nicely take us into chaturanga afterwards. So hands down, like a down dog's distance from each other. Place your head so that it makes a triangle with your hands, and start to walk your feet in until at some point they'll lift. You can keep your feet where you can see them if you want. Then there's no danger of falling into a back bend, which is all of our fear. When you're ready for an exit, chaturanga, and keep it going so that you wind up in downward dog. Don't let the chaturanga land you on your belly. Okay, let's come through and have a seat. We'll bring the right leg into a baby cradle shape. The left leg can just be out straight for right now. And you can have your right leg on with foot and elbow, or you can hold your shin bone with your hands. You could actually move it like it's a little baby being rocked, or you can keep it stationary. And we will attempt a half lotus with this leg. If that does not suit you, go for either figure 4 pose or Janu Ustrasana B or C perhaps. So once you're set up, fold over that left leg. The right foot is wedged right into the hip crease at the top of the thigh. And it's the same twisting sensation from Janu Ustrasana. Think about the armpits and the rib cage. If you are in half lotus, right arm reaches back. Okay, let's rise up. We're going to rock to the right hip so that we can fold the left leg back, Virasana style. If half lotus or Virasana doesn't work for you, just straighten one or both legs. We'll twist to the right for Urdhva Dhanurasana, that same bind that you just had, left hand under the knee. And we look back over the right shoulder. Each inhale, maybe you can get your weight a little more forward on that left hand. Each exhale, you can roll that right shoulder back a little more. Okay, let's unravel. We'll try the other side. Starting with baby cradle, left leg. And if you think half lotus looks fun, but maybe not today, you could just keep doing preps for half lotus. You don't have to even do another Janu. There's, a million different things going on. So when you're ready, heel to belly button, foot to top of leg. You just got 2 inches of toe there. We'll fold forward. Reach around the back. And try to square up as best you can, even if you're bound, or especially if you're bound. And look, I'm not sure if the screen of yours, it would be my computer, but I can't tell if your screen is frozen or if you need your left shoulder and armpit to move forward more. There we go. Hey, it moved. It wasn't frozen. All right, let's rise up for Urdhva Dhanurasana. Rock to the left hip so that you can bend your right leg back. And it's just like that Virasana situation. Arch is right next to your hip, toes are facing back. Wrap the left arm around, right hand under the knee. Unless that hurts you in some way, do something else with your grip. Twist left. Try to get your right sitting bone down. It changes the game considerably. Okay, and let's unravel. Vinyasa will meet in downward dog. And next up on the headstand roster will be Baddha Hasta, Ustrasana A, through that vinyasa. So if you're not sure about the vinyasa, watch. Otherwise, just do it. Most of you know it. Usually in Baddha Hasta, our A position, our fingers are very tightly gripped. You're going to have to loosen them up because your hands are going to have to move. So we do this normal measurement. Take your time coming up. I'm not going to stay for very long because I want to show you the exit in case you don't know it, and then you can get going on it. So there's two schools of thought here. You could fall like a tree or bend at the hip. I usually bend at the hip because it's just more gentle on the toes. So I'm loosening the grip. Then I'm going to move my hands and exhale. Inhale, continues the vinyasa. So give it a try. We'll meet in downward dog. If you're new to that exit, it might not be so smooth at first. Your brain might tell your fingers to go and they won't go. Okay. Very nice. Let's come through and have a seat. Marichyasana A. This is one of my favorite preps for foot behind the head. So sometimes in second series, I will actually stick it in there, even though it's not there. So right heel's close to your hip, but foot is 5 inches to the right of your thigh. Reach your right arm forward. Wrap your arm around your leg. Your palm is going to be facing up as it goes around the side, so that when you bend your elbow, your knuckles, plural, you have more than one, your knuckles are on your hip. Palm is facing out, and your left hand or wrist can just plunk right into the hand. You fold forward as much as your hips and back will allow. One more breath here. We'll rise up. We'll go for Kranjasana, but some of you just keep your left leg straight. If you have no knee issues, fold your left leg back like Virasana. Before we extend the right leg up, just sit up tall. You can hold on to your right shin. It's very easy to sit up tall then. Interlace your fingers under the foot and start to lift. Try not to lean back. Try not to let your arms come out of the sockets. The leg is pretty heavy, so it's going to try to kick your arms out of the socket. You have to diligently roll your shoulders back. If you're feeling flexible, you'll bend your elbows. You can bring your shin to your face. I'm going to stay right here. I walked 11 miles yesterday, so if I didn't have you guys to help me practice today, I would have been very lazy. Okay, let's float the leg. So we're going to keep it where it is, but try to keep it in the air on its own. It's not that fun. Just take another breath. We're almost done. Okay, let that go. Other side for Marichyasana A. So our right leg will be straight. The left heel is going to slide back. You could use your right hand behind you to help you launch forward because your armpit has to get in front of your shin. If your armpit is not in front of your shin, there's just no way that your arm is going to bend properly. So the first step is reach forward. Then you can start to reach around the leg. You might even decide your shoulders have had enough and you just want to be here. Armpit is in front of your shin, but you're not bound. But you're still getting the work of Marichyasana A. When you want the full bind, you just attach your hands together. Let's rise up, find your Crouchasana. Your right leg can stay there, or you can fold it back. Sit up tall. You could sit on a block, of course. When you're ready, extend the leg up and away. This is the second pose of second series, right after Pashasana, which I know all of you love Pashasana. One more breath here. And we're going to try to keep our leg roughly where it is as we frame it with the arms. It gets real heavy as soon as we stop holding it with the hands. Okay, let that go. Vinyasa. The next headstand we'll try is Baddhasta C. It's like Pincha Mayurasana, but the head is down. This is also relatively easy to get into chaturanga from here. That's why we're doing it next. You'll just be sliding your hands back. So the measurement is the same as your Baddhasta A. Elbows down, head down. And separate your hands, lift your knees, walk it in. Take your time getting up. Stay anywhere between 1 and 5 breaths. And it's an exhale that brings you to chaturanga. It's a very swift, decisive movement. Similar emotionally to when you were going from your knees in Ustrasana to your Urdhva Dhanurasana. You had to make a decision about that and just go for it. Same idea. Okay, let's come through. Have a seat. Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet together. Inhale. And fold, exhale. Any amount. Okay, we'll rise up. Let's find our squat with our toes out and our heels in. So it's easier than what you did before. Just keeping the knees out. And see if you can keep the knees out while you bring your elbows in so that the knees are responsible for themselves. It's going to be a lot of hips and glutes. Okay. Baby Bakasana, just for a moment. So it's on the forearms, knees toward your upper arms, rock your way forward and lift your feet. Belly in. This is like a variation of where you would have landed a Karandavasana if you did that. Return your feet to the floor and then your butt to the floor for a twist, potentially Marichyasana C, or if you want something a little more friendly, Ardha Matsyendrasana. I'll talk you through Mari C. Everyone has a choice except Anouk. She has no choice. So right knee is bent and up. Right foot is only about 2 inches here from the thigh. We'll hug the knee to the left shoulder. If that's going well, hook your arm. Get both boobs, including the left boob, to the outside of your thigh. So you can't have it stuck on the thigh. Armpit is close to the thigh, then your left hand is going to duck down toward your ankle. The thumb will lead the way, so your elbow bends now in front of your shin. And eventually your right hand can lift up to hold hands. For a while, you might just keep your right hand on the floor to help you sit up tall, because this left shoulder rotation is a big deal. Okay, let's slowly get out of whatever twist you were in, and we'll change sides. Twist to the left. And just make sure it feels good every step of the way before we continue on. If you do have shoulder issues, it doesn't mean that binds are bad for you. It just means you need to go slower and go with your intuition. But I did talk to a surgeon after my MRI thing, and he said, no, keep doing it. Let's duck our thumb down. He said that the yoga was the only reason I didn't need surgery. Let's start to wrap it around. Of course, every case is different. It goes back to the idea that there is so much you can do, even when there is so much you can't do. Okay, let's slowly unravel ourselves. Baddha Konasana. Una vez más. Open up the feet and lean your chest forward. Rise up, lay back, do whatever last thing you need. We'll have to do the rest of the headstands on Sunday because I got carried away with other things. The list of stuff to do is longer than the hours that we have to do it. And that's part of why we have to practice often. If you have a towel or a scarf to cover your eyes for Shavasana, it's always a great way to deepen the relaxation. Shiva, Shiva, Shambho, Mahadeva Shambho, Shiva, 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 Shambho, Mahadeva Shambho, Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho, Mahadeva Shambho, Mahadeva Shambho, Shiva, Shiva, Shiva Shambho, Mahadeva Shambho. Shiva, 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 Shambho, Mahadeva Shambho, Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Shiva 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 Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Shiva 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 Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Shiva 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 Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Shiva 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 Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Take a few more breaths here. Kirtan and mantra is very much like pranayama in that it can go on and on. It's nice to have a breathing exercise or a chant that you like, so that if you have a difficult moment, a difficult hour, you can call upon those resources. Let's start to wiggle fingers and toes. Take your time to sit up. We'll bring the hands together to bow forward any amount. Seal the practice. Namaste.